Should you retire now or work one more year? It's nerve-wracking to actually call it quits and retire. The most common response that I see is what I call one more year-itis. The loop of telling yourself just one more year, then another, then another. For a lot of people, those three words cost them 2, 3, sometimes 5 years of their retirement. Not because they needed the money, but because they never felt confident enough to retire. Today, I want to show you exactly how to think through this decision, the math behind one more year, and the part nobody talks about, so that when you make your choice, it's yours. It's not one that's guided by the unknown or fear. Let's start with the honest truth. Sometimes one more year genuinely matters. It doesn't just move one variable, it moves all of them at once. You contribute more, your investments grow longer, you delay withdrawals, your retirement is 1 year shorter, etc. You might also be at your peak earning years, and it feels hard to give up your income after working decades to get there. But here's where it gets complicated. For a lot of people, one more year doesn't happen once. It becomes a loop. One more year, then the market dips. So one more year, then a big unexpected expense comes up. So one more year. It can essentially become the carrot and the stick with no real clarity or end in sight. Just the feeling that one more year will make things better. And suddenly you're well past your initial goal retirement age, you're burnt out, and you're looking back at years that you could have had. Again, this isn't a money problem, it's a clarity problem. The people who stay stuck in the loop almost always share one characteristic. They've never actually run a real retirement plan. I see this often. People preparing for retirement whose current advisor only talks about the stock market and investments, or the best they've gotten is a semi-arbitrary Monte Carlo score with little real-world context. Or there's someone who's been a diligent do-it-yourselfer, DIYer. They never thought they would need a financial advisor, but they're realizing they could use a retirement-focused advisor to help with that important transition. They're estimating, they're guessing, they're going off of gut feel and dread, so they keep defaulting to the one answer that feels safe. One more year. Here's what I want you to understand. The retirement date decision is almost never just, can I afford to retire? It's a dozen questions at once. When should I claim Social Security, and what does delaying actually get me? What happens to my spouse if I were to pass first? How does Medicare work, and what happens if I retire before age 65? Should I be doing Roth conversions right now? How much can I actually spend monthly in retirement? And what happens to all of this if the market drops 30% in year one? These aren't trick questions. They're answerable, and getting those questions answered can give you the confidence to finally say, okay, no more one more years. So here's how I'd think through this. Ask yourself these three questions. One, do I know exactly what my spending capacity looks like in retirement? How much can I afford to safely spend? Two, have I stress tested that plan against a bad market, high inflation, longevity, etc.? A quick side note here, I've noticed a lot of people seem to think they're going to pass away earlier than what it statistically says they will. However, I just recently talked to someone who was 81 years old, looked younger than me, and he is determined to live to 100 plus, and I hope he gets there. Okay, question 3. Do I have a tax strategy for my retirement income? This is a huge adjustment. You have much more say over your taxable income each year in retirement than you did when you were working. Optimizing a tax plan is huge. If you can answer yes to all three of the questions above, you probably already know whether you're ready to retire. If you can't, that's not a reason to keep working. That's a reason to finally get the answers. Here's what I want to leave you with. The goal isn't to retire as late as possible or as early as possible. The goal is to retire at the right time for you. One more year might be actually what your plan needs, or you might be ready and just need someone to help you put all the pieces together. Either way, don't make this decision in the dark. If you want to walk through your specific situation, that's exactly the kind of conversation we have at JRS. You can call or text our number. I'll put that on the screen right here. And as always, money is a tool, knowledge is freedom, and planning is power. I hope you have a great rest of your day.